Hello, staff, and welcome to our virtual training today with me, Megan Sander. The title of our training is Understanding the Ohio State Report Card. So let's go ahead and get right into the purpose of this training. The purpose of this training is I want you to understand the purpose of the state report card that comes out every year. I know many times as a teacher, every year at our back to school assembly or our back to school meeting, we were always presented information about the state report card. And while I was always very cognizant of the fact that it did carry value, I didn't always truly understand the value that it had and how really it affected me and it affected our district, and furthermore, how scores were calculated. So, our first purpose of this training is to understand why there's a state report card and the purpose of it. The next purpose is to understand what measures ODE uses to evaluate our school. So we all know that we're getting a grade, but what measures are they using to calculate that grade? The next one is, how does the data relate to you? So I have to admit, I was a second grade teacher, so I didn't have testing. So I didn't really think that the report card affected me all that much. But I hope that you'll see as we go through this training that no matter what grade level you're teaching, the things that you're doing in the classroom for the school, for our students, does have an effect on the overall grade in our grade card. The last purpose is, how can you use the report card data to improve our district? And again, that kind of ties into what we were talking about before. We all play a part, we all play a role in the overall grade for our district. So I have some objectives also for this training. By the end of this training, I want you to be able to say, I can or I know how to access the state report card data for our district. It's always useful to be able to find other districts and compare, but I want you to feel comfortable going to the Department of Education's website and finding the report card for our district. I also want you to say, I can understand each grade card component. You're going to learn about the components and how they're calculated. I want you to understand this because that all plays into our overall grade. And the last thing I want you to be able to do is analyze report card data to identify strengths in our district and areas that we need to improve in our district. Because like I said, each of us play a part in the report card grade. So let's jump right into the purpose of the Ohio State Report Card. Why is it published? What can we learn from it? And the first thing is, it gives communities a clear picture of the progress of a district and schools in raising achievement and preparing students for the future. This is a tool that a lot of people use to make decisions about maybe moving into a district when they're looking to buy a home. So it gives that area of stakeholders some information about the district they may be moving into. The next is, it measures district and school performance in the areas most critical to success in learning. And you'll see throughout this presentation that the ODE has identified what they think are the areas most critical to a student's success. And the last one, allows district leadership, educators, and families to identify where schools are succeeding and where improvements need to be made. And that's really going to be the takeaway for us as a teacher. Where are we doing well and where do we need some improvements? So I talked earlier, I mentioned the measures that the state uses to judge us or to evaluate us, and that's how we come up with this overall letter grade. So each school and district receives an overall letter grade. So there might be different buildings in your district. So your district is going to get an overall letter grade, but your school building is also going to receive a letter grade. So how do we calculate that letter grade? How does the state calculate that letter grade? The overall letter grade is calculated based on grades in the following components. And as you can see, each component is responsible for a different percentage of the overall letter grade. The first